Welcome to Glow Social Club, the space where powerhouse women come to reclaim their health, their clarity, and their leadership. I'm Jazmine Corona, functional nutritional practitioner and founder of Organically Glow and Glow Social Club. Around here, we don't do one-size-fits-all advice. We translate symptoms into strategy and build the kind of structure that actually sustains you. If you are ready to lead your health, your work, and your life with clarity, confidence, and conviction, you are in the right place. Let's begin. If you're a woman who's hitting her revenue goals, creating content on autopilot, and still waking up anxious, tired, and empty, the one who's being praised for momentum, but privately questioning if she can keep going, this episode is for you. Today, we're going to be pulling back the curtain on something I know many of you feel, but few of us actually say out loud. Here's what no one told me about burning out in business. It looks and feels like success, right? You are posting content consistently. You are booking sales calls. You are booking discovery calls, signing on clients, making sales. Your calendar is filling up, but on the inside, you aren't just tired, you are exhausted. Your boundaries are being blurred. You're answering emails in the middle of the night. You are waking up, first thing you're doing is looking at your phone, and you are saying yes when you really want to say no. Going above and beyond, but at the expense of your own body, your relationships, and also your sanity. This was me. I wasn't just tired, I was exhausted. Yes, on the outside, I was definitely building a successful business, right? We were building momentum, clients were flowing in, my calendar was booking up, I was having discovery calls left and right, I was making sales, like everything looked picture perfect on the outside. But internally, I was drowning. I was so exhausted. I would wake up and I would have this pit in my stomach where I just kept thinking over and over again in my head the long to-do list that I had for that day. I had client protocols I had to make. I had client calls. I had to post content, right? I had to get back to emails. I had to have these discovery calls. I was really a one-woman show. I was doing everything behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and I was so tired. My boundaries were being blurred. I would sit at my desk for hours on end, skipping meals, running on coffee, and waking up so anxious. And in the middle of the day, I'd be crashing. And so often we think we have to be on 110% of the time in order to succeed, in order to actually feel fulfilled, like you're being productive, right? Like you have to be doing something over and over and over again, or you just have to be constantly working on the business, or you feel like this pressure that it's going to fail if you're not working on it, right? Like that's exactly how I felt. So yes, I was booked. Yes, I was busy, but I was also burnt out. I was stuck in survival mode and I didn't see what was going on. Like when you're in the thick of it, you have no idea what is happening, right? You're just moving so quickly. But what was happening internally is my body was screaming for help. My body was speaking very loud, louder than my schedule, right? And I realized that I wasn't just tired, I was misaligned. My boundaries were being crossed. I wasn't taking care of myself, my household. I wasn't even nourishing my relationships. I was just so hyper-focused on working on the business because I truly felt like if I wasn't working on the business 24/7, the business wasn't going to move because I was the one who was running the business, right? And this is something that I see so often in women who are very high functioning, right? They have high functioning anxiety. That's literally what it is. And when I took a pause, and honestly, it took so many different burning out and crashing so many different fights in my relationships and just not taking care of myself. Again, my body was screaming at me, my mind was screaming at me, and I realized that I was building a business that was really rewarding my trauma responses. The pressure I felt to always show up every single day, to always be available, responding to DMs in the middle of the night when I was getting ready for bed. I was truly overriding my needs to prove my value. And I don't even know where that came from, right? It really had to look in the mirror and realize Jazmine, why are you doing this? Where is this coming from? And I was truly stuck in emotional dysregulation. My nervous system was dysregulated. And this is where that high functioning anxiety comes in, when your nervous system is going crazy, right? You have no way to calm it down. Even on the other spectrum, some people, they truly feel like they just have to lay in bed all day. They go into freeze mode. And I also had that too. So I'd be high functioning throughout the whole day, right? Getting back to emails, crossing things off my to-do list, making sure I was posting content, making sure my clients were taken care of. And then as soon as I closed my laptop, which honestly was very hard for me to close my laptop, I would lay on this couch right here for hours, from 6 p.m. to probably 10 p.m. And I would binge watch Netflix, okay? My nervous system was in freeze mode. And a part of me thought, I'm just relaxing. This is my time to rest. I was making excuses for that, right? In reality, this was not going to keep moving my business forward. There was no way I could keep going down this path if I wanted to keep scaling the business. If I wanted to keep showing up for my clients, how I was showing up for my clients, right? Very high level care. And then I realized that this wasn't even a decision anymore. I wasn't even making the decision to binge watch Netflix for hours at night, or to, sit at my desk for 14 hours straight without eating, just running on coffee. It was really my default. This is me on autopilot when I'm stressed out or when my nervous system is just dysregulated. And it took months, maybe even years, to realize that something needed to change, that I needed to change. When I hit a plateau in my business where I was making a certain amount of money every single month and I couldn't get past that, something had to change, right? I needed to change. And the first step is really awareness. I was being really aware of my actions because they were honestly being brought to my attention, not by just myself, but by my, community, my members, my family, my partner, right? They were bringing all of these different habits and these terrible high functioning anxiety survival mode techniques that I was doing to my attention. And so it took a lot of that for me to finally realize we need to put some brakes on, and we have to really be aware of where this has been coming from, where I have been preconditioned that this is normal. The only path to success is to overachieve, to people please at the expense of my own health, at the expense of my own body, of my own life, right? I started this work because I had to. I couldn't keep leading from urgency. I had to really take a deep look in the mirror. And I had to realize that I needed to change. Not something, me as a person. My habits needed to change. The way I was moving in my business needed to change. The way I was showing up for my clients needed to change. I needed boundaries. And so when you are working and building a business or a practice, you're a practitioner, you are going to experience the same thing, or maybe you are experiencing it right now, and this is your wake-up call. This is me telling you that you don't have to build a business this way. You don't have to wake up every single day with a pit in your stomach because you have a long to-do list. You have to check everything off, right? There is a way to get out of survival mode. There is a way to shift your nervous system out of moving in fear and back into faith, back into actually trusting the process, even when you're not working on the business. So this is when everything changed, is when I had this awareness, right? Awareness is truly the first step when it comes to moving out of survival, taking back control over your life, reclaiming the authority you have over your life and your business and your body, right? After the awareness, honestly, I think that's the hardest step, is really being aware of like your patterns of these different habits that keep popping up. Maybe someone keeps having the same conversation with you. These are all signals. These are all communications that you need to actually consider. Like, you need to actually sit down with them, write them in your journal, and really understand what's behind it. What is the root cause behind the way I am moving? That is what I did, right? First step I did. I was aware of the triggers, right? So every time I would be triggered when someone told me something, I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? And I would really write it down. And I would ask myself, like, where is this coming from? Why am I reacting this way? And it really just started from like a very young age, right? A lot of us experience this as high achieving, high functioning women. We have been told that the only way for us to succeed is if we have to, right? We have to push through everything. We have to honestly put away all our needs and take care of everyone else. So awareness is truly the first step to shifting away from the hustle and back into leadership, back into health leadership, right? Next is your habits. So what I did is, once you have the awareness, this is when you actually start implementing new things, implementing new habits, setting yourself up, bringing in structure into your life, okay? So I really just like crossed everything off. I threw everything to the side, and I took a couple days to actually like really break down, like, okay, Jazmine, we need to create a structure for you. So that's what I did. So I went back to the basics, right? Because hello, I do this for a living. Like, why wasn't I taking care of my body, right? And when you're stuck in survival, that does happen, where you kind of are like, no, I'm going to keep going, because your body literally thinks you are about to die, right? So it's trying to help you survive. So it's not a problem. It's just really, it's bringing it to your awareness where you're able to actually make some changes. So habits. So what I did is I really just took a day. I wrote down like, okay, like this is what we need to do. Okay. By 4:30 p.m., you're closing your computer and you're taking care of the household. So I would start making dinner. I would physically put my phone in another room, put my laptop in another room, and I would not look at it. And I would turn it on silent. And I would go to the kitchen, get everything organized, right? Start cooking dinner, making sure the dishes are cleaned, making sure the counters are clean, picking up a little bit, right? Making sure the household is kind of like reset. If I needed to wash laundry, I'm going to wash laundry. Like whatever I needed to do to make sure the household was nice and reset and clean, I did that during that time. I honestly started reading too instead of Netflixing, and I put a limit on my Netflixing. So I would only watch 1 to 2 episodes. That's it. And then I would read. And I actually was super into like personal development books, business books. And then I also realized that that wasn't even giving my brain time to like actually like play, right? To actually like use my imagination. So I turned to actually reading some thrillers, psychological thrillers, fantasy books, and love it. I'm a huge fan now. So that is like my nighttime routine. Then I would get ready for bed and I wouldn't touch my phone. Like my phone was done. We're not touching it. Set my alarm. That's about it. In the morning, what I would do is I would wake up 6:45, 7 a.m. Sometimes if I woke up at that time and I was tired still, like I was still like, you need more sleep, I set my alarm for 7:30 and I would rest. I would really give my body time to rest. Once I got up, I would go to the kitchen, make my coffee, grab my journal, put on some music, and I would literally journal for probably 30 minutes. Sometimes maybe I would get a little cuckoo and I would go for an hour, right? And I was just journaling. I was just writing different things. Like I would just be writing like what I'm thankful for, what I'm grateful for. If there was like certain triggers that I had that week, I would be writing about that. Like I was really just brain dumping, and that was so helpful, so helpful. And then I also made a commitment, a promise to myself that I would go to the gym 3 days a week, and I would do that in the evenings. On Fridays, I would do my Pilates class, right? It would either go at 7:30 or 8, like whatever times were available. But Fridays were like really my day where it's my CEO day. I'm really just working on the back end. I have no client calls. I have no client work whatsoever. Like I'm just really focusing on the business. And that's another thing I did too. So I put different days really focusing on different things. So I'm going to make a whole episode about habits because this is actually going a little bit too much. But so I have specific days where I have client calls. I have other days where I'm doing content creation, recording podcasts. And then I have other days where it's just my CEO days where I'm really working on the back end. I am checking off, approving things from my VA, and just really taking time for myself that day too. Like I'm getting things done around the household. And then next, after the habits, once you actually provide a structure for yourself, what I did that really absolutely changed everything was I made investments. I started investing into a mentorship. I started investing into my own health, right? So I started doing IVs. I started really focusing on my personalized protocols. Like I did my blood work, do my blood work at least once or twice a year, and I make sure like everything is good. And then I choose supplements based off of my blood work. I was also really focused on getting support, okay? Hiring my first virtual assistant, marketing assistant, has absolutely helped me so much. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know why I put this off for so long. Like, there was just like a piece of me where I was like, well, I can do it all, right? I can do it all. I don't need help. No, you do need help, okay? And it's okay to need help. So I started investing back into my business, into mentorship, into my own health, into systems, into help for my business, right? And there were certain people I've invested in, and they were terrible investments, right? This was especially when I was like in the thick of it, where I just was hitting a plateau in my business, and I was like trying to throw money at the problem, right? Trying to throw spaghetti at the wall, trying to see what stuck. And so this one investment that I made, it was $6,000 for 6 months of support. And it definitely was not what I was expecting. It was just surface level strategy. Here's this template, go create some content with it. Here's what's working in the space right now on Instagram, on TikTok, go make some content from it. Here's the hook, use the same hook I use, it'll work for you, right? Very surface level strategy. And this person didn't even look at my systems, okay? So we were really just copying and pasting what worked in their business over to our business. And their business is completely different than what I do, right? It just didn't make sense. And when it was sold, I have to give them credit because the marketing was phenomenal. Like I bought because of the marketing. Like they marketed it so well where I thought I was going to get all these things. And in reality, I was just getting literally templates, copy and pasted templates that you can use in your business. And it would be different if I was in the same industry as this person, but I wasn't. So it just didn't make sense. I was using the strategy, right? I used it for the whole time I was in that program. And I swear my numbers went down on my business. My numbers on my content went down. I was losing followers. And like it really just like crashed and burned my whole business. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? What is happening? And so I realized after that investment, I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like, I literally just paid $6,000 for someone to give me templates and to copy and paste them into my strategy, into my social media strategy, right? And that was just, it blew my mind. It really, truly blew my mind. And I learned a lot from that investment, right? Because every investment, good or bad, there's still learning from it. So I really learned that I need to ask more questions before just investing. I need to actually be aware of what is working and what is not working in my business before making an investment, right? I can't just throw money at the problem. I just can't throw money to grow a business. Like, you really, truly have to look at what's working in my business, what's not working in my business, where are the gaps. And if you need help with that too, then there's your answer right there. You need someone to help you figure out the root cause behind your business. What is causing your business to plateau? Is it because you're copying and pasting someone else's strategy because you see them blowing up on TikTok or Instagram? Or are you actually being authentic and you are building a one-of-a-kind business, right? A one-of-one. Because that's how you stand out in this industry. That's how you stand out in any industry. You have to do something different. You have to do what feels right to you, not just copying and pasting someone else's business that worked for them, right? I also made another investment. And this is after a couple months after that whole investment that I had made. And, the same thing happened. I invested in someone where I thought they were going to provide me a very personalized strategy for my business. And of course, again, it was just another template. So I have learned from these different investments that I have made, there are people who are amazing at what they do, right? And they truly do want to help you stand out. They want to actually dive deep into your business and identify the root cause behind why your business isn't growing, why your business isn't scaling. Is it systems? Is it your strategy? Is it your marketing? Like, where are the gaps there, right? And then there's other people who literally are just telling you to copy and paste the specific strategy that has worked for them. Very surface level. And that's the problem with this industry. And that is the reason, one of the reasons why I'm doing the work I do now, where I actually am creating a container where practitioners can come in and they're not going to have that surface level strategy. They're actually going to come in and they're going to get a personalized approach. They're going to be the authority in their industry. And they're going to do it differently. They're going to do it that actually makes them feel good, right? Where you're actually building your nervous system up and you're not sending yourself into a spiral like I did, right? And we also don't just teach strategy, right? We're not going to copy and paste strategy because it doesn't work. We want you to embody it. We want you to actually change your identity. Remember, I said that you have to be aware of what's happening in your business. You have to be aware of what's happening in your whole life in order to make changes, in order to actually adapt habits that will push you forward. That is being. That is embodying that identity shift, right? And that's actually going to move you a lot further down the path than just copying and pasting strategies. And we also don't chase metrics. You don't have to have 1 million followers to make lots of money. You don't have to go viral in order to make a sale. Right now, I'm telling you, when I started on TikTok, right, I went viral. I have 1.8 million views on a video. Tell me why I had 0 sales from that video. 0. Zip. Nothing. Not even a sales call booked. Okay. And this is why I say you don't have to chase metrics. You actually have to align with your capacity. You have to really focus on on your values, on what you bring to the table, on how you can help someone, not just focusing on going viral, because I promise you, there are so many different people who have hundreds of thousands of followers and they are barely making it. And it's actually crazy to think about, but I believe it because I have seen it, right? I'm telling you, when I go viral on TikTok, I don't ever get a sale. It's really the videos that have 200 views, 5 likes. Those are the ones that get me sales calls. Those are the ones that actually get me new clients who are aligned clients, who are clients who actually want to embody the work that we do. So if you've been caring too much for too long, this is your wake-up call, like I was saying. You have to be aware of what is going on, how you are feeling in your body. So I truly recommend you taking a couple days to really just disconnect and reconnect internally. So here are some reflections that you can really just start thinking about, maybe journal about, okay? So number 1, where are you outsourcing your worth to your work? I'm going to say that again. Where are you outsourcing your worth to your work? Because this is something that I have dealt with, right? I thought I had to be working on my business 24/7 to tie that to my worth, right? I tied money to my worth. If I'm making money, I'm worthy, right? No, you're just worthy. That's it. Just being you, you are worthy on your own. You don't need outside validation to be worthy. Number 2, what boundaries are being bypassed in the name of results? Okay. Again, going back to the story where I was replying to DMs at 10 p.m. at night while I'm in bed getting ready to go to sleep. Every time my email would ding, I would look at my phone. Every time a client responded to me or a client messaged me, I felt like I had to respond within the next hour. Where or what boundaries are being bypassed in the name of results? I thought I had to post every single day, even if the video was so crappy, in order to see results in my business, right? So what are your boundaries, first off? What are you saying yes to when you really want to say no to? Lastly, who are you modeling your leadership after? And does it reflect your values? You have to surround yourself with people who value the same thing as you, who have the same values, who have the same grit, right? Or even if you are trying to scale in your business, you have to be around other people who are scaling their business, who have already done it, right? So this is something actually that I had to take a deep look at because I invested in that one person who literally isn't in my industry, first off, who was literally copying and pasting strategy and telling everyone to do the same strategy as them because it worked for them, right? That doesn't reflect my values. I want something personalized. I want someone who is actually 1,000 steps ahead of me. So I have something to actually work towards, right? Who has actually done something that I want to do, right? I want to hit 30K months. I'm going to find someone who is hitting 50K months, right? Like this is the type of leadership you want to be around. So those are some questions just to really reflect on, take some time to really just write out, like brain dump, okay? Brain dump, answer these questions. And it's really going to bring things to your awareness. And this is the hard part, right? This is actually the part where you're like, dang, I got a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. Once you have this awareness, that's when you can start building out a structure. That's when you can start building out a strategy that is going to help change you, where you're actually able to embody the person you want to be. You want to make 10K months, you want to hit 5K months, you have to embody that person, right? What are they doing to hit 5K months consistently? What are they doing to hit a 10K month? right? How are they acting? How are they behaving? How are their habits, right? What are their habits, first off? So you don't need to burn out to build something that actually lasts. And success doesn't have to come at the cost of your sanity. The path forward is really structure, strategy, and nervous system informed leadership. So definitely take some time to reflect on your business model, reflect on how you want to build your business, what feels good for you, what feels right in your body, what are your values. And inside of the Leadership Lab, this is exactly what we walk practitioners through and coaches through who are seeking sustainable leadership, right? Because you can make $1 million 1 month, right? Just throwing that out there. And then the next month or the next 10 months, you make $0. That's not sustainable. You need a sustainable business if you want to be in business for a very long time. That should be the goal, right? You don't want to come in and create a business and then leave the business, right? So if you guys are interested in joining the Leadership Lab, you can DM me on Instagram at Organically Glow with the word leader, or you can book a free clarity call and we can chat through and see if this is right for you. And then if you guys love this episode, if you guys have any key takeaways, key messages, aha moments that you got from this, DM me on Instagram. I would love to hear from you guys. Like drop your little takeaways in there. I would love that. So I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys have a lovely week and we'll chat then. If today's conversation shifted something inside of you, if it brought you clarity, relief, or a new way to see your health as a leadership tool, I'd love for you to share this with another powerhouse woman in your world. And remember, symptoms aren't the problem, they are the signal. When you start translating them, you stop surviving and you start leading with clarity. I'll see you next time inside Glow Social Hour.